So welcome to BC Procast episode 55. We are here with an awesome person today. You want to introduce yourself, say something short, and then we can get into it.
My name is Allison. I go to church with Caeden and Braedon, and I love sharks.
I felt like that was a great intro. I'm about to take a drink, man.
Okay. So we are here with this person, Allison. She loves sharks so much so that what are you going to be doing very shortly?
I'm currently in school majoring in marine biology, and I want to use that to do like satellite tracking on like great whites. And so hopefully soon I'll be accepted into like a PhD program or right into like my dream job.
Where did this love, this deep admiration for sharks come about?
It's really simple. I watched Shark Week when I was young, and something just stuck. I was just like, those things are beautiful. And that was it. Like, I just like had this fixation on them.
Just on sharks in general or the ocean?
No, just like sharks.
I one time when I was younger, I read a book on sharks, and it scared me so much that whenever I took a shower, I couldn't like not face away from the drain. Like I thought if I was like for 1 second I was gonna like I had to constantly be looking back. So can sharks come up drains?
No.
Okay, what about that's real though. What about you're alone in a pool, indoor pool? Can sharks just appear out of like the filter?
Yes. No, I'm just joking.
I knew I felt something.
No.
Dude, why is that such a real thing?
Dude,
Like whenever you're in a pool by yourself and it's like kind of dark or something, you're just like, and then you start going like this.
Yeah,
You're kicking a little.
You just start swimming,
No,
bro.
but some can swim up like the Mississippi River.
Rivers, yeah.
So
Wait,
like the
is-
chances of one coming to like Lake Michigan is like super slim, but
But you're saying there's
but
a
bull
chance.
sharks can.
Yeah.
So the
How
most
many-
aggressive ones.
How many? Wait, most aggressive ones are bull sharks?
Yeah, it's the most aggressive because it has the highest testosterone.
And
Start calling me bull shark, man.
wait, okay, I'm sorry. They're in Lake Michigan right now?
No, they have the ability to. Because they're born in brackish water, which is half fresh, half salt. So technically,
Wow.
they can withstand the salt drop compared to like other sharks can't, because like the osmosis. So the salt going through.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The osmosis.
Yeah.
Osmosis, man.
So
Osmosis.
I mean, they
Or
can't survive there forever because, like, if you also think about it, they have no natural predators and their natural prey are not around. So, like, usually what we would eat is much larger fish, and there's not that, like, in these lakes usually. So, like, even if it swam all the way up, it would not really, it's not going to, like, live the rest of its life there. It's probably going to die off.
Wow, I did not know that. Now I'm never swimming in Lake Michigan ever again.
No, you're fine.
I mean, I don't think you could. You're not even like we're over in like Montana right now.
Yeah, it would be a drive to get to Lake Michigan.
Or a flight. So you said you would say you'd either satellite great white sharks or do your dream job. What's your dream job?
That is satellite tracking.
No, but like,
So I'm going to do it either way.
Two options, same option. Gotta
Yeah.
choose one. So what is it? What all entails satellite shark, great white sharks? And have you already done a little bit of it?
I've never done satellite tracking, but I've done like tagging. So the tagging I did was on a much smaller scale. It was not great whites. It was like, we still had like bull and tiger sharks. So like larger species still. But it was like you bring them on the boat, and instead of like attaching like an actual satellite tracker, we just did like a tag. So it was like this little thin yellow thing that stuck out of its dorsal fin. And that was more for like population data analysis. So like I was in the Gulf of Mexico, and then we were seeing like the populations of sharks come in with like migration patterns and things like that. But satellite tracking is super expensive because like the devices themselves are like thousands of dollars a piece.
That makes sense. So why are sharks like important?
Well, if you think about it, they're like, they might share the podium with orcas for apex predator.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, if you think of everything that they regulate, like if they're at the top and they eat, this below them,
This scares me every time.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
it's like super
Did you jump?
like
No, I was holding it together because she was looking at me. I was like ready to.
so they eat like say they're gonna eat a tuna, and if all their like species, all their numbers get wiped out, now you're gonna have this huge increase of tuna that's gonna over like predate what tuna eat, and then now there's gonna be none of those, and it's just like it's like even if they weren't the apex, if you just take out one species, it's like a huge cascade.
That makes a lot of sense, and that was a serious question because I was curious because each animal has like its reason in like the world, and then like your love for sharks is like they can look cool and stuff like that, but I also think they carry like an importance in how everything runs. My next question was like, why is you kind of already alluded to it with the migration, but why is it important to keep track of certain sharks or like monitor their like living?
Well, one huge thing is the company I want to work for is called O-Search, and they do tag other sharks, but their main focus is great whites. And that is because a lot of like great whites, you can't really inhabit them in like an aquarium. So it's really hard to actually watch their behavior 24/7. And so right now, there's like really, really few, not like small knowledge on like great white reproduction. Like we know that they're pregnant for about 12 to 18 months. But like the number of pups or like babies is unknown because there's only been like one actual footage of a great white birth, but not really because it swam super far down. Like this big one, so you could assume it's a female that's pregnant, and then all of a sudden this like albino looking shark swam up to the surface with like a film on it, so you can assume that that was the baby, but only one came up. But they also don't take care of their babies. They birth and swim away, and it's all like pretty solitary, like everyone's taking care of themselves. So there's like a huge gap in knowledge of like great white reproduction. So they believe that like sea turtles, how a sea turtle always comes back to lay its like eggs on the beach it was born at. They think sharks have a similar thing. And they think it's the like New York brine, like the little hook by New York, but they don't know. So like if you're tracking all of these sharks and like there are mating seasons, if they're all moving to this one location year after year, you can go look into that location and maybe you can protect that area for recreation use or something to protect that to ensure like survival of the offspring. There's like just a lot not known. Also just to maintain like numbers on their population.
And don't they also like travel long distances?
Yeah, they will go. They usually stay on like either side, but they will just swim up and down. Because if you think about it, they can't stop swimming because they need that constant oxygen flow through their gills or they'll die. So they don't really have a choice.
Wow. And so when you say either side, you mean Atlantic or Pacific?
Correct.
And
I don't
then
know
they
my
just
oceans really well.
No. No, but and then you say they just go like north to south,
Yep.
essentially?
Yeah.
Wow.
What is like the biggest threat to sharks these days?
I think it's like all the time. I think maybe the biggest one would be like commercial fishing.
So why would people go after sharks? Like, what is the purpose with sharks?
Because their meat or their fins are worth a lot of money. So like a lot of commercial fishing, like I'm not sure how much actually goes on like off the docks of the United States, but like a lot of like Hong Kong, Indonesia, there's no regulations on sharks. And so like Indonesia, there's this girl on Instagram, I know her name's like Shark Girl Madison is her like tag. And literally she films out in Indonesia and like that's like their job, and they bring in hundreds of like tiger and bull sharks a day, and it's just you make a lot of money for their fins. And it's just like for them it's like why wouldn't they? That's how they provide for their family. But a lot of like commercial fishing boats, like maybe off China, they'll have regulations like in these waters you cannot, and that's what's considered bycatch. So like if you're going out and you're a tuna vessel and you're only throwing out, you know, like your nets for tuna, these giant nets trawling have a huge impact on the whole ocean. But then when this giant net's coming, you could bring in orcas, sea turtles, dolphins, sharks, get whales trapped up in them. And then a lot of times, so they bring in this whole hull, and then they're like, oh,
I think I remember
a
watching
shark.
a documentary about
Yeah,
that.
and a lot of times there's someone on the boat that like their job is to literally write down the catch for the day. So how many pounds of tuna, this, any bycatch, and a lot of times they just go missing. I did like a huge report on this with like, there's like dozens of reports on like the bycatch person they just fell off the boat and no one could jump in and save them. And it's like, really? Because if you can get like up to $1,000 a pound for a great white fin.
Wow.
So
Wow,
shark
lovely
finning,
species.
commercial fishing, it's like, that's the two biggest things. Because if you think about it, sharks don't sexually mature until about 18 years. So a lot of animals, they can, start reproduction much younger, but sharks can't. They have to wait till they're at least 18 to even like anatomically be able to like carry a baby. And then once that happens, they're pregnant for like longer than a year. That's a lot
That's actually crazy.
to like actually have a baby. So if you're killing sharks constantly, even if like you could have killed like one that was 17 years old and it was almost there, it's so easy to like easily wipe out generations because they take so long to even get to a point of reproduction.
So how old can a shark or a great white be, or could live up to?
They can live up to like 60, 70 years old. There's a shark called the Greenland shark, and it lives like off Antarctica, and they have recorded those to be up to like 300 years old. But they have super slow metabolism and heart rate in general because of the slow water. Like they move at like 5 miles an hour.
Wow.
Like,
And is that a great white or is that a...
no, it's a Greenland, so it looks like it's
it's
just covered
Greenland.
in moss. It looks really weird. Like it doesn't really look like a shark. But those ones, like sharks can live really to be really old.
How old can a megalodon live?
I don't know.
Do those exist?
I think so.
Where do you think it's at?
I think it's like just at literally the bottom of the ocean, like past the Mariana Trench.
Bray, when you swam down there at the bottom of the ocean, why didn't you, or do you know something?
Well, the problem is like when sometimes apex predators see apex predator, they tend to swim away. Yeah, we were trying to talk about it earlier. I touched the bottom of the ocean. We already talked about this on the podcast, actually.
Yeah,
I think.
know. I just didn't know why you didn't like let us know that they are.
I just
alive.
told you.
So did you see him swim away?
No, because he knew I was coming.
He? How
Or she.
How do you know the gender like that?
Megalodon sounds like I don't know. Anyway.
How can you tell the difference between a male and a female?
Like a male, they're called claspers. So he has like 2 outward reproductive organs, and so that's like how you can tell. A female, it's just flat, and then the male, the reproductive organ is like always out, and there's 2 of them. They're called claspers.
Wow.
So you went to Mexico recently for what for?
It was research through the National Science Foundation.
Cool. And then how'd you get involved in that? Through...
My professor told me about it. He's like, hey, you should really try these, like apply for these things. He's like, you're probably not going to get one. Like straight up, he's like, you're probably not going to get one because they're super competitive.
Yeah.
Because the schools, you usually get 500 to 700 applicants globally from like to one lab.
Whoa.
And then they
That's
pick
crazy.
5 to 7 people.
So how do you think you got picked?
Grace of God. I don't know.
Really?
I have no idea. I mean, I have like a good academic standing and I've done a lot of research at my university.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I'm sure there were a lot of people that
Yeah.
have a better GPA and also do research, or I don't know.
So you went down to Mexico, and what'd you do down there?
So I did research on Laguna Bacalar and the Black Cenote, which is along like the west side of Laguna Bacalar.
And
How long did it take you to learn these names?
Well, Bacalar Lagoon, it's like the same thing, but I guess Laguna Bacalar is what they call it.
Say it right now.
Bacalar.
No. Luna. Let's say that.
Lagoon Bacalar.
Did you say it pretty good?
Yeah, Laguna.
Laguna
I think is
Barklar.
Spanish for lagoon. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Lagoon Bark. No, not me.
So when you were there, you said you were what were the I can't say the place at Sante.
You could
I
just
know
say
that
the
one.
lagoon and the cenote.
The cenote and the lagoon. So lagoon and cenote, you were doing stuff involving sharks.
No, it was all the stuff that like for the REUs there were shark things, but I didn't get selected by those schools. And so I got selected for this one. And so everyone was doing something different. One girl was looking at E. coli in the water because in that area of Mexico, it is very underdeveloped and a lot of them don't even have correct like sewage or septic systems. Oh. So they thought there was a lot of E. coli in the water. And there was that we swam in.
Oh.
And then someone did like, no, I didn't. We tested like the dock where we'd swim. I don't know. Maybe I am sick. Who knows? And then we did like mangrove biometrics, which is like like mangroves, you know. They're like these like trees with giant roots.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought she said mangoes, and so I was like, oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
This is great. How does that do anything marine? Like,
And then someone did stream gauging and like primary productivity of like benthic plants. So everyone was doing something different in the lagoon. And then I was looking at the hydrology, so like the movement of fresh water into the lagoon.
so I have a question. I'm so sorry. It's kind of going a different route, but so marine biology. So you love sharks, right? Okay. So is marine biology the way to love sharks, or do you like to work with sharks, or do you actually like marine biology?
I like all of it. I don't know. I'd be content working with anything marine life. I mean, also, you're not always going to get what you want right at first. Like, it might take, like, a year of working somewhere else.
Actually,
Did that answer your question? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wanted to be in elementary, middle school. I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Hey, you can still do it, maybe.
I wanted to work at SeaWorld. But I know SeaWorld kind of is like...
It's ups and
Canceled.
downs.
Yeah. It has
Yeah.
this-
Canceled.
Cancel the B in DC,
I
bro.
didn't know that when I was a little kid, okay?
That's okay.
But I actually don't like go to zoos. I have like a weird thing about it.
Me too.
But back to marine biology. So what has your... Oh, man. I have so many questions. So what we were doing in the lagoon and something...
Oh, the cenote.
Cenote. So you're checking the hydrofluid?
Bro, you can't be a monologist if you can't say these words.
Hydrology.
Hydrology.
Study
It's
of
talking the
water
fresh
movement, yeah.
flow water movement.
So I was just looking at, so like the way bottom of the lagoon is called Zulha, and it's a town, and that's where all the like fresh water comes from. And then the rapids push it up to the lagoon. And so they've looked at it before, and it's more like maintenance because as tourism like increases, because it's a fairly cheap place to go travel because it's super underdeveloped, but it's super, super pretty. But with all of this like tourism coming in, people, I mean, they pollute, so they leave trash everywhere. And then they're like, oh, all these people are coming. We have to build more buildings. But they don't have the money to put up like tons of regulations for like safe construction. So then say, like, think about it. You're building a huge resort on the edge of this lagoon and you're ripping up all of this ground and it's pouring rain. Where does all of that nutrients and all of that chemicals that could be in the soil that percolate through, where's that going? It's running off directly into the lagoon. So over the years, like even when we were there was like a huge tropical storm, and for like 2 days after the tropical storm, it's called the Lagoon of Seven Colors because it's like the prettiest water you've ever seen, and it turns like brown for a couple days from all this like huge influx of nutrients and pollution and chemicals and all of these different things. So they've been doing like a yearly maintenance of looking at the hydrology to like make sure, just like to know the health quality of the lake, make sure the fresh water is still flowing in and things like that.
Wow.
So that was with the lagoon. And then with the cenote, they hypothesized that there was some fresh water that was feeding into the lagoon from the cenote. And so I did vertical depth profiles of the black cenote and then saw that between 30 and 50 meters of depth. So like almost the bottom, that's where all the fresh water is coming up and then rising up and feeding into the lagoon.
So how long were you in Mexico?
I was there for a little bit over a month. I was supposed to be there for 2 months, but then Hurricane Beryl was coming. Like we were in the direct path of it. And with the tropical storms, our rooms would flood every single night. And our power would go out for days, which means like if the streets are flooded, you can't get fresh water. And there were just tons of things where it was like, it's not like we were in a, like, it was safe, but it's not like we were in like heavy duty.
Yeah.
So it was just like, at that point, we were almost pretty much done with all of our data collection, and all we had to do was write our papers and then present to the, like, mayor of Bacalar.
Oh.
And so it was like weighing out the pros and cons was like...
You're like low-key like a hero. Like you changed the world.
No.
How not?
Why is she so aggressive with that no?
Yeah, what?
No, it was just looking like...
No.
It was just looking at like water quality of their lagoon.
But water is so important to us.
It is. It was...
How long are you going to be in Australia then?
I think 8 months.
Oh my.
From February to October of 2025.
Oh wow, mate. That's insane.
Well, today's your day. You start today.
You going to have some fish and chips.
Right. So, okay.
Off the bar, babe.
Real quick, back to the... No, that was good. That was good. Going back to the black cenote. Mm-hmm. Why is it called the black cenote?
Because it is really, really dark. Because it's really deep. Because a lot of cenotes, when they're formed, there's like... It's technically a conical basin, so it like comes down like a V. So it's slowly...
So many words.
There's like a... Technically, they actually have a littoral zone, which is like... So when you walk...
Yes. Don't even explain it. I know it.
So when you're like a lake, like Lake Michigan, there's a shoreline, like it progressively gets deeper. So that area where you can walk in is the littoral zone.
Do you know what? I had to compliment you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're using these words, because if you didn't, I'd be like, how are you trying to get a PhD in this? You know what I'm saying? But like it's just regular words for her, and we're like, imagine like all her friends she hangs out with, they know what she's talking about when they say littoral zone. We're like, oh yeah.
Like, yeah, I get it, littoral zone.
Littoral zone. Yeah. No, but with the littoral zone, the velocity of which...
Littoral zone.
And then we would just be like this. Can we see some pictures, please?
Diagrams.
So some of them kind of have more of a littoral zone because it like slowly like gets deeper, where the black cenote is like, there's no littoral zone. It's just it's like a cliff.
Like Nemo.
Yeah, exactly.
Could touch the butt.
Yeah. It's just like cliff, and then it's just dark.
It's crazy.
Whoa. Okay.
Would you want to be Aquawoman? If you had the opportunity to?
Yes.
Can you swim really good?
You know, I can swim, but I don't think I'd like classify myself as like part mermaid, like really good.
So when I was gonna get to this, you have your question.
Oh yeah. So with the black
I was gonna say something real quick.
Go.
That's
why you were saying.
I was making sure you had your question still.
I thought you. Yeah.
Okay, so when you're in Australia for that long, you do a lot of other stuff, and we're gonna talk about Australia a little bit more. Are you gonna like work on your like swimming and like even potentially like free diving? Do you know how people like free dive super far down?
See, here's the thing. They always say like, you think you're a good swimmer until you go to Australia. Oh. They say that a lot.
And you already don't think you're
Well, I think swimmer. I'm like fine. But that's like already scary.
Yeah.
Like you just scared me saying that. And now I'm going to think myself into being a bad swimmer.
Well, no, I was joking.
But you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure I will. But also they have tons of saltwater crocodiles that sit along the shore of like the beaches.
Australia's
so people do
place.
like swim, but like I don't think it's as like common just to go swimming out, because also like they have a lot more saltwater crocodiles and sharks. Like naturally, they have a lot more sharks.
That place is just built to kill you.
So it's like I don't think people just are like, oh, I'm just gonna go for a quick dip.
Well, I didn't know if like you were gonna be out in the ocean or something like that, and then you're like, I'm gonna free dive down, because with free diving like you don't need equipment, but you go like far down. And you can like know how like to pressurize and stuff like that. It's
I don't
something
think
to think
I'll
about.
have any like need to. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like I know I want to dive at the Great Barrier, but I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna be like actually scuba diving, like with like,
Yeah.
because I mean at that point like you don't want to come up every couple of minutes. So, and then I know I'm gonna do like a great white dive, but that I'll be in a cage. So
Yeah.
like I don't.
You'll probably be the one person that's like, get your hands off the great white shark. No. Just bite me. It'd look so cool.
Just do it.
So cenote.
No, wait, no, I'm fascinated with this Australia thing. So what are you doing in Australia? Are you going out in the water?
No, so I'm going to a partnering university. So since I go to school in Wisconsin, Montana.
What is Wisconsin?
Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin's the city in
Since
Montana.
we're a landlocked state.
Yeah.
I've done like all my freshwater and like biology and chemistry bases here.
Oh.
But then instead of them just like teaching us like marine based courses, we go to Australia. So I'll be at a university called Deakin.
So are you doing shark stuff out there, or is it just
No,
continuing
it's just
your
like
marine biology?
marine. So I'm sure like I enrolled for like marine mammals and other like organisms. So I'm sure I'll like learn about sharks to a degree. But like I'm assuming it's a lot of like the global like conveyor belt, like currents and things like that. Probably like current ocean issues and things like that.
What's your favorite mammal?
I don't know. I would think then it's like a grizzly bear.
I like pandas.
That's cool. Back to that. I don't know how to go off of. I don't know where that came from. Australia.
Well, I'll go back to the black cenote. So explain to like what your process was to getting that, because you're saying it's pitch black. You can see up into what?
You can see like about this far in front of you.
And this
Like
massive
about hands.
massive like pool of water, right?
Yeah.
And what did you have to do? Like what was your process?
So like the first time we had it was previously like mapped, and so how like a cenote forms is since like that whole area like Bacalar lies along like the Yucatan Peninsula, which is all super like karstic bedrock, which is like gypsum, dolomite, and that bedrock itself is just really easy to like go through like karstification or dissolution. So it's like the carbon dioxide from the rain, as the rain falls from the sky, it picks up carbon dioxide, which that's why they say rainwater is acidic. It's because that carbon dioxide. And as it like percolates through the ground, then all that bedrock can very easily be like broken down by that like acid rain. So over time, like it's not like it's gonna rain once and like cenotes are just gonna be like formed, but like over time the weathering. So then it's pretty much a cave that just collapsed. So at one point it could have been flat, and then it just collapsed because it was all empty cave underneath it, and then it just completely fills with water. So that's like how a cenote is formed. And so with that though, it's not always just like a perfect fall. There could be all these different like ledges, So someone previously mapped it. So then we looked at like the bathymetry, so like the mapping of that, and we were able like to pick a spot that like would maybe avoid those different ledges. So we had to go out and like we took a cinder block and tied like about 50 meters of rope to it, and then tied a buoy. The reason we didn't do the full 60 meters, because that's the like true depth of it, is because we didn't want tourism boats to like come and like pull up the buoy, because they're like, curious. So we wanted to keep it like below the surface but still visible. So we like spent a whole day dropping it down, and then the buoy would still be up, and we're like, okay, well clearly it's not at the bottom. So we spent like the whole day moving that around. And then the first time we brought like 5 suitcases of like tons of like lab equipment from the States. So like, DNA extraction tools, all of these things. Wow. And we brought it to this little small university in Mexico, and we just set up in a lab, like one of their classrooms. Wow. We had like little foldable.
That's like a movie.
That's a
we had like foldable tables just like stacked with like centrifuges, which like spin a sample down to like separate animal or like different cells by weight, and like so we set up all these things. So we had like, it was probably like a 20-minute walk. So in the morning before sunrise, I would get on my little kayak, and I'd kayak over to the school, and I'd like strap it to like, I don't know, the trees. And then I would like walk up to the school and I'd get it's called a sond. And it's like, it is this like, I don't know, like 3-foot measuring water quality tool. And it's got like these different like optical probes on the bottom. So it can like measure pH, salinity, conductivity. So how many like different like nutrients and things like that are in the water. All the temperature, dissolved oxygen. And so I'd like grab that, bring like a huge bucket with like rope and stuff back into my kayak, and then I'd kayak out to the middle of the Black Cenote. And then you'd like just have to kayak around until you like saw the little yellow buoy somewhere underwater. And then I always had someone with me to make sure that like I came up.
Because
it was like...
Because you would dive down.
Yeah, so then like once they found it, I'd quickly like hop out of the kayak and then put on like my goggles and then take the sond. And it was clipped with 2 carabiners that I'd have to clip onto the rope below the buoy, so it would like hold onto something going all the way down.
Yeah.
And then so I would clip that on, lower it down 60 meters, bring it back up 60 meters, unhook it, kayak back to the lab, download all the data onto a computer, email it to myself, and then kayak back to the hotel.
Wait.
A hero or a supervillain?
Yeah, there's something going on over there in Mexico.
So
you're saying, let me just get you straight. You would kayak with this massive pool. What would you, how big would you say? Can you give us
sand?
the cenote.
Oh.
Like, give me like a body of water that could be close to it. Like,
Oh, jeez.
a massive pool.
I would
or
say
what?
maybe it was like...
You could see the other side, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Or no?
You know what?
Okay.
You could see the other
Send
side,
me a-
but it was big.
Send me a picture of it. I'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
So you'd have
Are
to
you
go.
serious?
Yeah, I've done that before. He doesn't watch my edits on my stuff, bro. He doesn't. I put all this work into it. You know what? Let's not open this can of worms. Anyways. So you'd go in this middle of this Black Cenote, which is like pure pitch black.
Yeah, it's
And
really dark.
you would have to look for this little tiny yellow buoy that's just flowing, and you have to swim down to it.
Yeah.
How many feet would you have to go to swim?
Well, we initially placed it like maybe like 6 or 8 feet below water, but then since we were there during the tropical storm season, it probably rained like a total of 4 feet. Because by the time we were leaving, the pier or the dock at our hotel was underwater. Like, it was like you were standing on it, but your feet were in the water.
So you parked your kayak in your room.
We just had to pull it all the way up the hill. But, like, there was even, like, a rock right before the Black Cenote. And, like, one day we went out there and we're like, where's the rock? It was just completely submerged.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And so it probably ended up being, like, closer to, I don't know, closer around 10 feet down. And then when you would detach it wrong, it would get all tangled up about 5 feet deeper. And then no one's going to do it except you. So then you'd have to go down there and...
So you're swimming down by yourself in this pitch black, deep water.
Yes, it was very creepy.
What is going through your mind?
I was just scared I was going to drown. I didn't think anything was like going to come up and like eat me.
You're just like...
But I was just like, I just really didn't like
It's your
it.
foot.
You know, I just didn't like... I didn't like it.
What did you hear?
It's just my breathing, like through my
That's
tube.
that's like a
So I was like,
horror game.
It's just like Darth Vader, but you're looking into a black hole, and it's like, yeah. So it was one time, one of my peers was like, okay, I want to come down with you. Like, I want to try to do it. Because everyone would get sick off and on because when we thought our freezer worked, we learned the hard way it did not when we froze meat and then cooked it. And everyone
But
didn't
you.
feel good. But not me because I didn't eat the meat. But then everyone got like sick. And then the next day I went to go eat my popsicle and it was liquid. And I'm like, guys, I think you have food poisoning because my popsicle, like, I don't think the freezer is freezering. And then they were like, oh, wow. So she was like, okay, well, just in case, like, you get sick, someone should know how to do this for you. So then I told her, like, I explained to her, because right when we got off the kayak, she was like,
Oh, dude.
and I was like, okay, just, like, put on your goggles and just look down and, like, just focus your breathing. Like, you're good. Like, before we go down there, just focus your breathing. We got a few minutes. So then she's like, okay, I'm ready. And so we go down there, and I like had just hooked the first carabiner, and then she swam up. And then, so then I finished what I was doing, and I came up, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll do it.
Dude, I don't know how you do that.
Well, I didn't have any choice. It was like I needed to collect that data. Like, I needed to. I had to get over it.
Was it nighttime when you do this or in the morning?
It was like right at sunrise. Because if you waited any later, there was always strong winds. And you would like find the buoy, get off your kayak, and be across the lake and be like, what? So you had to do it, or the winds were just too strong.
Mm-hmm.
But you had no choice. It was like, this is literally your project, and you need to collect data.
Give me a day-to-day life that you would have. So you do that, and then what would you do?
So yeah, I'd wake up early, and then kayak over there, and then come back, and then make sure my data's sent over. A lot of times the data didn't even log. So I'd have to do it again. Or if it was too late, I'd have to just try again tomorrow. And so then that was just before our day. So then we would have a boat day from about 8 to 5 or 6 p.m. So we'd load up the boat. So there's always different boats going to different places. So you'd load up all the like buckets of equipment, pack your electrolytes and your snacks, and then you'd get on the boat. And then a lot of times I did later that day, that's when I did all of my like hydrology measurements. So we would drive to like the other end of the lagoon, and then we would do those. And then a girl on my boat a lot of times did her E. coli sampling. So she'd collect water samples starting at the shore and then going about like, I don't know, 500 feet out. And then sometimes someone else's project, they needed more data, so we could drive to the mangroves and then measure mangrove roots. We were looking at how much like the roots grow, like how long it actually takes to, because the roots are like this is literally what the root looks like. And so you get a random root starting out, and it has to plunge into the sediment or the ground, and that's where it'll actually root, and that's when it's considered like a grown root. So they wanted to look at that. So it was like different every single day. It was kind of wherever the boat drivers told you were going to do. Because we worked with EcoSur, which is a scientific lab out of Mexico. So we had an EcoSur guy coming with us, and that was like, he would help us every day, like direct us more like.
Wow. This sounds like a cool school project.
It was cool. It was very stressful.
And everyone gets to like do their own thing.
Yeah, it was nice.
Did you have any like one breathing down your neck to like make sure that you got this stuff done, or were you just trusted and you're just like, this is what I have to do, and they know?
Yeah. The guy that was from EcoSur, like, he was very like on top of things when we were on the boat. But like other than that, I don't know. I don't have problems with that. I know what I have to do, and I just do it. A lot of times you would come in from the boat, and then you'd like, me and this girl named Mariam, who was on the E. coli project, we'd get dropped off at the lab. Well, everyone got dropped off at home because I had to log all my data, and then she'd have to prep her E. coli samples right away. So then I'd help her load up all of her E. coli samples, and then we'd walk back to the hotel from the like school or the lab. And then from there on, it's like, you can either spend the rest of your day logging and like analyzing your data, which I always did every day. I just kept up on it. And then maybe we would walk into town to get dinner, or we'd make dinner, go swimming off our dock. Wow. A lot of people went out, but no thank you.
And then so what's the process of like, so you've done a lot of college and you're working towards a PhD. Is that by choice, or is that just to get you to your desired like career?
That's just, I don't know, a little mix of both. I feel like I'm young, and I might as well like just do it while I'm young. And like, I think if you want to do something, you might as well be the best at it.
Yeah,
you know, like what's the point of like, if you know you want to do something and you want to get something out of it, what's the point of being like, oh, I know other people are getting like a PhD, but that's a lot of work.
Yeah. One thing you noticed talking to you, it sounds like you're a person that's like very like studious, and like you know what you're talking about and you really like it. Because like when I was going through college, like I think I took the other route of just doing enough, just like getting the grade. Like there was one time where I wrote a whole book report without having the book, and I just went on like Amazon and read like the preview, and like I had like
That's
5
impressive,
pages.
though.
Yeah, it did really well, but I did a lot of like this is foreshadowing, because I only had like the first like 5-6 pages of the book. So I'm like, this is foreshadowing. You can see in chapter 1. It went well, but so there's like I feel like there's 2 different kinds of students. I think I like did school well, like I worked the system, but then I think there's you, but also helps that you're like very passionate about what you do. So it's like, why not learn? Why not do it? And like one of the best qualities that I think Caeden has like immensely, and like hearing how you talk, is like just a great work ethic. Like I think that's something very admirable, and you can also like tell when you're in the presence of someone that like just knows how to work hard. It's something I'm working for.
I think you work hard though.
Yeah. No, I was just curious because like when you're talking and you're saying all this stuff, it sounds like there's passion. And I know at the start of every college, a college career, it's just like the fundamentals, the basics, just like the required classes. But then you break into a point where it's like all interesting and like fascinating. So I was curious, like, what are some classes that like stood out to you that have kind of like made you like maybe fall in love with this passion a little bit more, or some classes that have like expanded your mind, and like a random question could be like, what's a new word you've recently learned from some of your studying? And then how did that get you to a place where like you kind of alluded to it already, that you're extending the program to Australia because you need salt water, but like what does that all entail to get to even that level?
I don't think since I haven't actually done any like marine courses, I can't be like, oh, this was like, I don't know what my favorite class has been. I was really lucky where I was reached out to do undergraduate research when I was a sophomore. So that is like, I think what kickstarted everything, because it's like a whole different ball game going from like just doing classes or doing like research. Like it's completely different. So like, I don't even know a class that, I don't know, aquatic bio was cool, but I feel like I also knew a lot of that. You know what I mean? Like it was a lot of, like I knew a lot of it from my research.
Yeah.
So.
Did you do a lot of studying like outside of school, like for your own?
Yeah, I do. For both my research and my classes, I do a lot of like studying, sadly.
Wow.
Very sadly.
So Australia, what is a day in Australia going to look like when you get there? Do you know?
I have no idea. I know people that have gone and I've talked to, but it kind of sounds like, so you take at least 5 classes. And I know he said one of them is online, but that could be, I don't know, maybe I won't take that same class as him. But he said that you spend your whole day on campus and then you just have the rest of the day. So I know it's on a river, and I know it's 10 minutes from the ocean. So I know he does like a lot of tide pooling. So you can like go to like a tide pool. So it's kind of like tons of rocks where like instead of breaking on sand, it's like breaking on rocks. And you'll see like a lot of urchins and like sea slugs, maybe little starfish, octopus, things like that.
Wow.
So he does those things, but I have no idea what it's going to look like.
What are you the most excited for and the most nervous for going to Australia?
Nervous that I'm just, what if I just don't really like it? I don't know. I mean, how could you not like it? But what if I'm just like super homesick? I'm never someone that's homesick. Like in Mexico, I don't know. I was like, oh, I'll be home eventually. But like, or like your roommates are completely random. Like you don't know until you like get there. So maybe nervous that like, what if I don't really get along with my roommates, or like they don't like me? I don't know. And then
Allison, you're such a likable person.
Well,
It's going to be
not.
the other way around.
Maybe not. I don't know. So, but I'm most excited for like, just like, I think it'll be a big breath of fresh air. And it's a super, like their coastline's super healthy. So I think there's a lot of like, if not internships, volunteers. I know they do a lot of like sea turtle research. So like, I'm just excited to like actually apply myself to being in like literally the healthiest area ocean wise.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you think about it, like the Super Bowl, the epitome of marine biology, isn't like that great barrier reef?
Yeah. That's like across the continent from where I'm going to be.
Oh, across the continent. Where are you gonna be? South or north? Are you gonna be north?
No, I'll be south. I'll be like, so here's like Sydney. I'll be like more west towards the outback, but not really. So I'm like, I think I'm like 4 hours from Sydney, west-ish of Sydney, but still along the coast. So I'll have to like fly to go to see the Great Barrier Reef.
Wow. Which you will do, right?
Yeah, I will.
At some point.
But the thing is like a lot of the great whites are along the south.
Oh.
So like I think it's like not Port Washington, but it's Port Lincoln maybe. But that's like the great white hotspot, and that's like an hour from where I'm staying.
Wow,
that sounds awesome.
So why do they say that you have to be good, or if you think you're a good swimmer in Australia, or what did you say about being a good swimmer in Australia?
They say something like, you think you're a good swimmer until you swim in Australia.
Why is that a thing?
I think they mean like if you go to the beach. I think their currents and the riptide is just super, super strong. I mean, that's why they do all the surfing. They've got huge waves.
Why do they live like they could die at like any moment?
I think it's because they just grew up there, so it's just normal. It's like,
I mean, look at Chris Hemsworth.
I know, he's crazy.
It's just like they're used to it, and they're like, it's just a spider. And then you're like, no, it's actually the size of a dog.
Do you think, can you do me a huge favor?
Mm-hmm.
Could you try your best to get an Australian accent?
I'm going to really try.
Just like blank out of your
Yes.
English.
I mean,
I think it's attainable.
how long are you gonna be there again?
8 months. I think it's attainable.
You can.
I'm going to like, well, I want to be friends with like some Australians because I want them to like, I don't know.
You're gonna have to let us know if it's like stereotypical, like the blonde hair.
I don't think
Is
it's
that
gonna
blonde?
be.
Is that stereotypical?
I think so.
I also do horrible with. So I went to England, and there I started picking up like their accents for fun. Oh no, I can't even do it. And when I went to France, I went bonjour, things like that. So
I think it's kind of easy to
wonder-
pick up when you're around them.
Yeah.
You just like say it.
So when you're there for 8 months though, and you're talking to them, I bet there's gonna be a time. What's a Australian word? Is that fish and chips, or is that
Cranky.
Cranky? Cranky. I bet she's gonna be a time where she's talking and she's like, "Oh, cranky. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh,
The
no.
water, Claire."
There's actually an Australian guy at Whitewater right now.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not from Deacon.
Is it? Do you hear his accent or
Yes. Because my friend Dennis introduced, he's like, you gotta come see this dude. And I was like, hi. And he's like, hello. And I'm like,
no? Dude, I was so
And then he's like-
weird.
where are you going? And then I'm like, I was like, don't attack me, but like, Warrnambool. And he's like, Warrnambool. You're saying it wrong. Like, I can't even do the accent, but he was like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like, it was just weird. I was like, okay.
That's so cool.
So do you think like an Australian man is like a man's man? Because they go out in the wilderness.
I don't think they're
They
all
do
like
their
that.
stuff.
No,
I think a
because
man's man's America. America.
Merca.
But I feel like if you were put in a room with an American and an Australian man.
No, a man's man is from like something Stan.
Oh, like Pakistan.
Or Kazakhstan. I was probably thinking.
Afghanistan.
No, I was thinking Kazakhstan.
Well, because the Gold
that.
Coast, it's like completely different. It's like Miami. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Miami. So it's not like... That's why they say you're not even going to see like a lot of spiders or kangaroo. Because it's all like development. It's like you could be like... It's like, I don't know, living in...
Why is it called the Gold Coast? Is
I
it
have
the sands?
no idea.
Oh.
But they say like you're not going to see kangaroo hopping down the street. It's like, yeah.
Because you're going to be near the outback.
I'll be closer to the outback.
Yeah.
I think the city I'm staying in is still like pretty developed.
What's the Outback? What's
That's
that?
It's a restaurant, dude.
The whole west side of Australia is like a lot of it is not even developed. Like there's
Yeah.
no buildings. It's literally just like barren.
Outback.
And it's like that's where you're gonna see like kangaroos and like scorpions.
I'm here with alligator.
Scorpions like moving around. That's like where you're actually gonna see things.
Jordan actually can do a great accent.
Oh, yeah.
We're out in the outback with alligators. I can't do it. I really
I can't do it either.
But when I was in Colombia, I'm tying this because the gold. There was this mountain, and there's like this like white plaque face of it or something like that, and there's like this legend that there's this like this conqueror that like he came to this area in Colombia that we were at, and like he was like gonna get attacked, so he hid up all his gold in this like plaque, like this area on this mountain. So you could look up mountain, there's like this white spot, and you're like, oh, apparently that's where the gold is. I was only saying because the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
was an
well, you should
idea
have
I thought
hiked
of.
up it.
I know, I said that. I'm like, oh, are we going to go get it then? And they're like,
And you're like,
but are we gonna go get it?
Yeah.
Then? No, but that sounds like crazy. What are you most excited about? Not for like the schooling aspect, but the like you're on the other side of the world, like the culture and everything like that. Do you think there's something that you're excited to like kind of learn or pick up or like have your mind be expanded? Because you've been to South America from Mexico. I don't know if you've been anywhere else, but like that's another thing you kind of are gonna unlock.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard because they say it's still really similar to America, like development. So I have like my mind open. Like I want to work in towns to like have a job and stuff. But like,
do you think they're going to be like, oh, are you American?
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes they don't like Americans. So I'm a little concerned. Like maybe they're going to be like,
They'd be like, no,
I'm France.
I'm France.
I'm
Me?
I'm France.
I'm France.
I'm France.
They're going to be like, ma'am.
German.
Da ist German.
It's German.
Da ist German.
That's crazy. That is so cool. So what kind of job do you think you'd want to work when you're there?
If I can't get like a paid internship, maybe like a coffee shop, something like chill.
Do like Surf's Up. Have you seen that? Be like the surfing guy that like hands out surfboards.
What's up, dude?
Yeah.
I don't think I can do that.
The accent or the giving the surfboards out?
Giving the surfboards out.
Okay. Well,
I think they're all gonna be like, we literally already have one, and I'm gonna be like,
no, but I think that'd be so cool if you were just and you got to see all this. Are you gonna try that stuff?
I'd like to try surfing.
Are you gonna try to just get into their culture?
I'm gonna try to just like, I feel like it's gonna be hard because like even the guy I was just talking to that just came back, he like loves coral, and I'm like, did you go to the Great Barrier? And he's like, no, and I was like, why? Like it's literally summer there right now. Like this is like perfect, and he's like, because it costs money, and I'm like, well, money's gonna come back, but like the Great Barrier Reef is like a third of it's already dead. Like it's probably gonna be dead within the next 20 years. Like who cares? You know, like money's gonna come back, but some things aren't. So it's like I'm gonna try to like. That's why I want a job, is so I have like more flexibility going out. But like I want to go out and like I want to go on tour on the Outback. Don't know what I'm gonna see, but why not? I know they have like the oldest gain free, something like that is their rainforest in the north, and it's actually the world's oldest rainforest.
Oh wow!
Don't tigers live in the rainforest?
I think they have like puma and things like that.
Isn't Australia a bunch of prisoners? Didn't that how it started?
I have no idea.
Doesn't Australia not exist?
I don't think it does.
I
think I'm
Where
actually
you
going to
going?
Austria.
Austria.
Did you know that Australia is also a country?
That was a continent.
We just found out. Tell them what we just found out.
I don't know.
We just found out that Australia is also a country.
So it's a continent and a country?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works, but what I was gonna say with Australia, there's like folklore that Australia was for like all the prisoners that were like messing up from like essentially like Asia and like New Zealand and above.
And
so they sent them down there.
Like in a prison or?
Like the whole like the asylum of you being on this large continent. You're bad, so you're going there.
Oh, how horrible.
You should ask people about it once you're there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I had like a list of like
You can totally make a list of
stereotypes.
questions, and I'll just.
Are people
mail
able
them.
to come visit you?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. And how much is like a trip again?
Round trip flight, I think, is around $1,100, $1,200. I know a one-way flight is around 6 to 8.
man.
And that's what you're getting, right?
That's I'm getting because the round trip doesn't. You can't book your return date 8 months out.
So
It's just literally not available, and I think I would forget to change my return flight, and then I'd just be like, oh dang.
When do you leave?
Early to mid-February.
Is that like for
This February?
yeah, like 2 months? When you're coming back, is that set in stone, or can that be?
No, I have like a 30-day grace period off my visa. But like I have to leave. So I think I'm gonna go to New Zealand before
After Australia?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're over there.
That's
yeah,
what I'm
do
thinking.
that.
And so I think I'm going to fly over to New Zealand and then fly to the United States because then I have my like graduation in December.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're gonna be there for 8 months. Mm-hmm. Okay, sweet.
And then my like break between my classes is like June, I think. I don't know.
Are you gonna travel back for a little bit and then go back, or are you just staying in Australia?
No, I have to leave. But I could be like, if I got a job or went to a university there, I can get like another visa or something like that. But like technically I just applied for my visa. You have to like leave. Like it's like a crime to like stay past your visa. Like
Unless you get married there, is that a thing?
that's probably not gonna happen. So
So, end goal is to be working with sharks, to satellite them, tag them. Where do you foresee yourself doing that? Because you go to college in Whitewater. Where's that? Whitewater, Wisconsin?
Yeah.
I don't know where that is. I don't know. Right now,
It's
I just
like
only know
a couple states away.
Galveston in
I only
Tennessee.
know Madison University.
So,
That's
where do you foresee yourself being?
I want to work for OSearch, which is out of Georgia right now. And so that's where they dock, but then they do expeditions all over the place. Like they were just in, like by England for like 4 months.
Wow, so this is like a traveling job.
It can be. I would probably, you have to have your PhD to be on the boat. But so I've been talking to, right when I was a freshman, I started like messaging all the workers there to be like, how do I get a job here? How does this? How does this? How does this?
Yeah,
smart.
And they were just kind of like, yep, it's really difficult. No one ever wants to quit their job because they love their job. So we never really have open spots. Whatever. So then over the years, I've kept in contact. And like sometimes I'll just be like, oh, like sweet pic. Like if they post like a cool photo of a shark and then like things like that. And last May.
Oh, you're going to work there.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Last May-ish, because I was just getting out of like the spring semester, I got a random text from the guy, like one of the guys that works there, and he's like, hey, we're building they're expanding their company to Mayport, Florida by a partnering university, and they're like, yeah, we're building like literally a whole new dock, building a lab and a whole new vessel, and a lot of jobs are going to open up, and I'll put in a good word for you, and I'll let you know when interviews are going to come up so you can be prepared.
Wow.
So that construction, though, might take a while.
But you have a
That's good.
while.
But we hadn't talked for months, and then he like randomly messaged me
That's
to
good.
let me know that this like tons of spots were gonna open up. So even if I like realistically, if I got done with Australia and then jobs were open, but I just have my bachelor's degree. I mean, he got his job, and he left he dropped his bachelor's degree to go work for them. So it varies of like level of degree you need. But like I would love to even work in their lab where they like go on an expedition, collect all these samples, and I like analyze them, like the blood, the saliva, the parasites. Like I would love
Do they
to do that.
specifically work with sharks? Mm-hmm. Okay. I was going to ask
They
why
do
that company.
mainly great whites, and then they do some turtles,
Wow.
and
That's
then
so
some other
cool.
sharks. But it's mainly like great whites.
What was it like seeing your first great white in person?
I've never seen a great white in person,
I was gonna say.
so that would be Australia. That would be my first time.
Are you
ever seeing
ready
one.
to see your first?
I'm so ready.
Are you going to cry?
I think I'm gonna. I really think I'm gonna
Are
cry.
you going to jump in and start swimming with it?
No, probably not. I don't think so.
Come on now.
She's like, I mean, I can't
I don't
tell.
know.
I don't know what's going to
No.
happen at the moment.
No, so I haven't ever seen a great white, but the first shark I ever saw was actually in person was when I did that shark tagging, and it was a 8-foot bull, and I was just like literally lost for words. Like I did not know what to say. Like they brought it on, and with it being a larger shark, you had to like sit on it. Because,
so you were
like,
just dying of like love.
because like if we bring up like smaller sharks, you just like hold them down with your hands and they're fine. And then she was literally like, I'm gonna need someone, and I was like like she didn't even finish her sentence, and I was sitting on the little shark holding
he's
it
just
down.
like hugging it.
Yeah,
Because I was like, yep.
All right, we gotta let it go.
I'm not
Hold
gonna
on a
let-
second.
I need someone to hand me some. Allison, what are you doing on the shark?
Yeah. I was like, nope, my time to shine.
She starts wearing like weighted vests, so she'd be like, "I'm heavy enough to do it."
I'm doing it. And so like once you like have them pinned down, then you can put like you put a little hose in its mouth to keep the water flowing through their gills for the oxygen. But like they're a little antsy. So like before they could do that, I'm sitting on it and it's like, thrashing around a little bit. And so you just like are pushing down all your weight, like kind of a little bit behind its head.
Yeah.
And so then whatever, whole thing goes on, and then we had to like not pick it up, but like push it off the boat back into the water. And like it was super cool and exciting, but then like there was so much adrenaline when it finally started to come down. Since their skin is literally like scale like teeth, the whole inside of my thighs were like bleeding because it's called shark rash from like when it was thrashing around, its skin was rubbing back like sandpaper.
Yeah.
But I had so much adrenaline, I couldn't feel it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm bleeding, and so then you'd get it like on your legs and your arms.
So do you have to wear something specific? Were you not wearing?
No, I was just wearing like shorts,
Oh,
Wow.
and then it just like
I feel like you'd be the person like, "All right, let's go."
yeah,
I- no,
they
I
would
feel
definitely yell at me though, because they talked about like one time someone walked in front of the shark and it just like bit at someone's ankle.
But no, kiss it from the top.
No,
I know, but they're still like they're all cartilage, so they're super flexible. So there's a good chance that like
it can, like,
I would be able to like really quick, but
Yeah.
like
I feel like she's
You
also
know?
type that'd be like, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. You're doing really good. Like, talk to
Well-
it while everyone's like, get the hose out of that shit.
This shark has killed 5 people.
something
No,
that's
sharks actually don't
No.
kill people.
they
They
don't.
They're not that dangerous.
They are. One thing is like certain species like hammerheads, there's this thing called lactic acid. We all have lactic acid. And
Yes.
with some species, like hammerheads, if it's not moving, that lactic acid isn't also moving. And so some species, like they literally can't sit, even if they're getting that water through their gills, like a lactic acid buildup can kill like hammerheads. So what you do to like make sure like when you're sitting on it and it's got the water going through its gills, something while everyone's like, taking samples, doing measurements, you literally sit there and you poke its eye. And they have this like,
Oh, 'cause
have
it
you ever
makes them
noticed
move?
like when a shark, like I don't know if you noticed this, but when a shark goes to eat like even bait, its eye kind of rolls back and this little thin eyelid rolls over. It's just like to protect its eye when it's going close to like prey. It's called the nictine membrane. And if it's like nictine membrane isn't responding, that's like a straight indicator that like it's not responding. Like it's not dying, but like it's getting kind of weak, and you need to like at that point it's like stop all measurements and like get it in the water. So you'd like sit on it and you just like once every like 2 minutes like start tapping its eye, and as long as that little membrane's coming down, it's
Wow.
doing good. And if it's not, it's like okay, everyone stop touching it and get it in the water.
Wow.
Have you seen a hammerhead in real life? Mm-mm. Those would freak me out. Those don't seem real.
Yeah, they're weird.
Yeah, they're very weird.
I've seen shark videos where people go down and like they're feeding them and they kind of like move them. What kind of sharks are those usually? Do you know what
Those
I'm
are
talking
usually
about?
like bulls or tigers.
And they're aggressive.
I thought the bulls were.
They're like of all of them, they're the most aggressive, but they're also not just like gonna come up and like bite you. And they might though. It's like a 50-50. They're not as aggressive as people portray them to be, but it's also like there should still be a level of respect that it's a wild animal. Like you still
Yeah. When I see those videos, I feel like I could do it.
You
'Cause
totally
kinda
could.
You just kind of go like that.
You
and you're
totally
wearing
could.
like stuff,
I
right?
wouldn't do it right. I'd be like, and then I'd look away, and then as my hand is
You
going,
just go like
it's just slowly in its mouth and you're like, oh. No. Yeah, I think they're still aggressive. I mean, they're still like apex predators. You
So
know?
what's like the what is the greatest experience you think you'll ever have? Is like in a cage? Is it like what I just described, where you're on the bottom of the ocean and like they're swimming by you? Like is it holding on to a great white when you bring them on? Like what is it? Like what's just like if this happens?
I think it'd be like swimming next to a great white.
Cage free?
Like, yeah, just free diving, like swimming next to like a giant great white. I think that would be the moment where it's like.
Is that a possibility?
You can do that. I mean, you have to know a lot about their body language to do that, but.
Yeah. It's so scary.
Yeah, I know.
But like you could do it.
Yeah. And then kind of change. Do you have something on that or no?
No, that's freaky.
Kind of change the topic. I'm not trying to like go into a rabbit hole or something like that. But what do you think about like ocean health and like the importance of a healthy ocean?
I think it's vital. I think right after the ocean like completely dies, whether that's like we kill all the fish or kill all the coral, I think it's directly correlated to land health. I think if we don't have think of how much water provides people, how much food. I mean, also all of those things, coral reefs, mangroves, they're all storm barriers. You remove all of those things, tropical storms, hurricanes hit the land 10 times harder. Like, I think it's vital. I think soon after ocean death will be like land death. Like
I mean, other planets, we try to find water there, and we have a bunch of water. How much? I already asked you this before, but I wanted to kind of ask you again. How much of the ocean do you think we've discovered or researched?
They always say 5%. Maybe it's a little bit more, but I don't think it'd be that.
Isn't that
much
crazy
more.
to think?
Yeah, that's insane. It's also doesn't help that everything is constantly moving. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you go to a zoo and it's like everything just like you can easily watch it because everything's like encapsulated. Like, it's everything just always moving around, other than like some things like reefs.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been doing more deep sea stuff because there are like submersibles that can go really, really, really deep, like through like Woods Hole, which is on the East Coast, and it's like an oceanographic institute that also partners with the Navy. Like, it's called the Alvin, and that's like
that's cool.
the number one submersible that can go like the deepest.
I've heard of that.
So like we do have like way more knowledge on the deep sea, and I feel like people are focusing on that more than just like broad ocean.
Are we still discovering new species? Really?
Like a couple months ago, they all look really similar, but like there was a new species of shark that had like, it looked like a scalloped hammerhead. So like its head just looked like kind of scalloped.
Oh, let's say you found a new species of shark. They go, Allison, you get to name it. What are you naming that shark?
Well, I think I'd either name it something else that's like kind of obvious about it. Like usually when you see like a
You're not going to
scalloped.
call it Allison?
No,
That's
I
the
wouldn't name
Allison
it.
shark.
I don't think I'd name it after myself. I think I would, if I was going to name it after a person, I would do my academic advisor, my mentor. Because I think a lot of this stuff, like, I don't think, it sounds stupid, but I wouldn't have a lot of the opportunities I've had unless it was for him.
I say no.
And it would just be funny. I'd like probably make like a funny joke name for him and name it the shark. So it's like,
They're gonna think,
it's not like, it's
Call
like
Owl.
here.
The great owl.
Oh
No.
my goodness, the big owl.
I don't want it named after me.
Well,
It's not
Owl.
named Owl?
Your name is Allison.
Your name's Allison. Or
I don't
Son.
know.
Son.
Sharkson.
Chinese song.
Sharkson.
Chinese shark. Dude.
No,
Allison.
but the species names are always like, you can't even pronounce them. So it's like.
What if you did your name, but you did it with like an accent somewhere? Like it's the Allison. This is the Allison shark.
And then they're like, you mean Allison? No, the Allison.
No, she didn't want it to be named after her.
No, I don't think I'd name it after myself.
Do you know the species or like the actual name of a great white?
I
By
literally
chance?
don't.
Do you know another one of another shark?
No, I don't
What are
do
you talking
scientific
about?
names.
There's
It's like
yeah.
like okay, for example, a water flea. It's like literally, it's a branchiopod. It's a type of zooplankton. We have them in our waters.
Yeah.
It's literally these tiny little things, not your water, like the lakes. And like technically it's a water flea, but then the scientific name is Daphnia something.
Yeah.
something.
So a lot of animals have like a scientific
And
name.
it's literally
Which is just like words to describe what it looks like or what kingdom is it in, or like
phylum, class, suborder.
It's like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's not like
No.
it wouldn't be called a kangaroo. Scientifically, it'd be
like-
called.
Yeah, like kangaroos are a common name. Great white's a common name.
Yeah.
I don't know the scientific names.
The kangaroo would be based off like the class it's in,
I see
where
what
it's
you're saying.
located,
Oh, that's very
strong features, I think, stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe if I did like a research project with a shark and then I would like know it because I'm gonna have to present it. But like, not a lot of times when you're talking to people are you like, even like fellow scientists, like if you were to talk like at a convention, you're not gonna be like the because they're gonna be like
The great white.
you also have to think it's like they know that they're on the same level as you and they're gonna be like
Yeah, what are you trying to prove?
yeah, you can say that like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like it's kind of unnecessary. Like you would maybe use it in a paper or in a formal presentation, like maybe your like actual thesis presentation, but like basic talking, I feel like it's not really that usable. It could just be like I know the scientific name, and it's like, okay, you can literally Google that on Google, and like I feel like it's not super important.
Yeah. Just curious.
Because no one addresses it by that name. Like no one's like, have you seen a? No, they're like, have you seen a great white? You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
What? Okay, I have this question. Okay, are you ready for it? Mm-hmm. What is the scariest moment that has happened to you in the water?
Probably the black cenote.
That's the scariest moment.
Or when I was at the Wisconsin Dells when I was 7, and I was swimming under people's tubes, and I accidentally was stuck under one of them and thought I was going to die.
Dude, I had something similar. Where do you know what the tide pool is, or like they call it? Like
The lazy
hurricane-
river?
No, it's something where like they'll go,
pool?
"Err," and then this huge.
The wave pool, yeah.
Yes, the wave. The wave pool. One time, I couldn't get up because there was why are people in tubes? That's why I don't know why they're doing that, but the wave was coming and I was kind of deeper, and I wasn't a strong swimmer, and a tube came and went over me and I couldn't get up.
With a person on it.
Yeah. Oh man, that was freaky.
Yeah.
A similar thing to that. I was in a house in Florida, and we were all in a pool, and there's people that were in rafts and stuff, and I was trying to get up, and a person wasn't letting me.
Not letting you?
What?
Yeah, and then I'm I was really young, and I was just oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's
But-
scary.
I actually used to hate using life jackets because I was afraid if I went head first that I wouldn't be able to get up.
Yeah. They just rotate you.
Well, I didn't know that at the point until I think I saw Gavin go head first, and then I saw him move.
You're not just going to be stuck upside
Dude,
down.
I thought I really thought
Help your legs.
If you think about it, it's just his head and his whole rest of his
Yeah.
eyes up. I don't know if it works like that.
legitimately was afraid of that, or taking it off and then it got attached to my feet.
All right, so one fun question before we kind of end off with you starting to think of some fun facts about sharks that you can share with us, okay? So if you want to start thinking about it a little bit right now. But I do have another question, so you're going to have to multitask. First question, it can be quick if you don't have anything. Is there any, lore that you've, heard of within, your community? For example, you said, a megalodon. You think that could be a possibility. Do you hear any other lore or myths or the what is it called, the Loch Ness monster, from inside your community where they study all this stuff? Is there weird things that you've heard? You're oh, or people think that it could be a possibility.
No, I think the megalodon is the biggest one. Or a lot of people think sharks have something to do with the Bermuda Triangle.
Can you explain that?
Oh, what?
Well, because sharks don't come to you because they see a human and they want to kill it or they smell blood. It's their nose is covered in electroreceptors, which is they have a sixth sense called the ampullae of Lorenzini, and it's pretty much all these they look like blackheads, and they're these little. It's a nerve, and it's surrounded by a gel type of thing.
Yeah.
And the all these nerves connect to their lateral line, which is similar to their spine, but they don't have any bones. It's all cartilage. And so, you literally moving sends a wavelength out. When you tread the water, all of that sends a wavelengths through the water. And it's if you were to feel a mosquito and you just, it's a instant reaction. the second those wavelengths hit their electroreceptors, it's like move. It is like instant. Like they don't have to think about it. Yeah. Because we make the same wavelengths similar to a struggling fish. Because if you think about it, when a fish swims, it's graceful. It was meant to be in the water. So it's not going to send off like wavelengths because it's, it's chill.
Yeah.
It's meant to be in there. But we're not. Like, think of like when you're treading and kicking your feet, how much you're moving in comparison to like a fish swimming.
Oh, so if you move a lot.
So that's not even like, people think like, oh, a shark like smelt my blood. And it's like, can they smell blood? Yeah, they can. But that's not what like really piques their interest. Because it's also like, they've done tons of Shark Week stuff of like whale calls. Like there's different pitches of a whale that's like signify it's hurt, because they all speak through like, whale talk. And there's like certain whale pitches that sharks will come to because those pitches send off wavelengths. Like technically they do have ears, but it's not that. It's all these wavelengths. It's a instant reaction. And that's why they say hit a shark in the nose, is because it's so sensitive. Because literally their main like sensory system is on its nose. So like when that submersible that submarine that went to the Titanic with all those people imploded, they had like the audio of when they thought it imploded, and all the ocean sharks turned directly to the submarine. Like, because you think of like if that were to implode, the wavelengths that would send off, and all of a sudden all of these sharks, all of their paths, and they start moving in. And then people are like, it's because they knew there was prey, like humans that were dead. And it's like, no, it's literally natural reaction of like the wavelengths. That's what gets them is like
goodness.
Wow, I did not know
this
that.
movement. It's like the boat motors. That's why they come by boats, is that the vibration of those boat motors. Like it's not like I'm sure there is some sort of correlation with bait and, free food with that vibration, but they come up because of the movement. It's not
the Bermuda Triangle. What do you mean by that?
They think there's some sort of like weird like vibration thing, because all these sharks will just circle around the Bermuda Triangle. And what really attracts sharks is all these like wavelengths, different vibrations in the water. And everyone always says like, I don't know, they say all these sorts of weird things about the Bermuda Triangle. So people think there's like a weird correlation with sharks.
So if I'm in the water, I probably don't want to be moving a lot if I'm like worried about that.
Well, I mean, it's also different because you see these videos of people swimming with sharks. But there's a difference, I think, when you're submerged below surface or like you're like treading on top of the water. Like, I think it's like we're never going to be as graceful as a fish.
Yeah.
It's more about like, I think if a shark were to come up to you, like people are like, what would you do? And I would probably, like if I saw it coming from like far, I'd probably try to get eye level with it.
What do you mean?
Like,
why? So it can't like...
Well, you want to like maintain eye contact.
Really?
Isn't it something where like if it goes under, like if it...
Oh yeah, if it goes under, you better get to... It's either gonna swim away and not care about you. If it's a great white, it could potentially breach on you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so scared. I'm so scared and I'm on land right now.
Dude, if it was raining outside, I would never go outside.
Like, tiger and bull sharks have never been documented to breach. But, like, great whites, they'll breach. Yeah, they'll go down and disappear and make their prey think that they're gone. But then they'll get all this vertical momentum and launch out of the water.
And can you do anything about that?
I don't think so. At that point, they're probably, like, swimming really fast. I mean, they can, like, shoot, like...
They can get high.
They can get really high up.
So, like, how do you even punch them in the nose?
I think at that point, you accept your fate, to be completely honest. I think at that point, you say a prayer, and you're like, this is a sick way to die. You know what I'm saying?
Because
there's not dying on impact, though. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah. That's
like you're getting hurt, flying out of the water.
And then you're going to have this, like couple ton animal smack on you in the water. Like, you might pass out from, like, the impact. Because, I mean, they're going to launch out and land on top of you. And a couple, like
I'm
when
so scared right now.
Dude,
when
I'm
I
never
like
going to the
the
ocean.
I'm
sharks
putting
that we
myself
did.
there.
Yeah, me too.
Why am I doing that, dude?
Me
I'm
too.
horrible
I'm
with
literally
like
looking down.
romantic movies and like sad movies. I put myself in the shoes. He does it too.
I
Like we
wonder-
can't ever do that
No,
stuff.
I
you'll be
wonder if
fine.
you make yourself a pencil. Would you just come out?
I was thinking.
Just-
come out the other end. You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
thinking-
Just like this and...
I was thinking, if I like start like he's about to come in, I'm like, but like
Bro,
he can
it's
probably
so
change.
Well, okay. How clear is the ocean?
Or like can you like do one of these things where they open up their mouth and you put your feet on their mouth and you're just like,
And you
Oh,
just
you
like come up.
You're
and
holding
just,
its
like,
jaws.
like,
I mean, possibly, but your precision would have to be pretty spot on.
or you just go.
Like, but I think the biggest thing is like
Make
if you
yourself big.
were to scared away. If you were to like,
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Dude, no,
I'm thinking about
it's
it.
real.
if you were to actually come face to face, I would say get eye level with it and maintain
So
eye
swim with
contact.
it.
I would like say if I see it swimming at me, I wouldn't try to swim away. I'd probably get down and like maintain eye contact, and then you could try to do that. But you also think about it. If okay, you have to think like I'm a mountain lion and you're a little bunny, and we make eye contact, and you know I'm coming to kill you. What are you gonna do? You're gonna run because you're the prey. So the second you turn your back, that just like you just verified, yes, I am prey. Because they're coming to check you out. Like they don't come to check, like to look over and be like, I know I'm gonna kill that thing. That's why you see people's kayaks bumped and tipped over, because nose bumping, it's like a curiosity of like, what is this thing? Why, what's going on? So they want to, that's why they circle and they nose bump and they do all these things, because they investigate first to see like, is it prey? And a lot of times, like when you see those videos of them feeding down there and you're this close, they can like, okay, they're not prey. But like if a shark's swimming at you and you're like, you turn your back and run, that is prey behavior. And that's going to kick in its predatory instincts and be like, yeah, that's prey. But if like a prey is not going to like maintain eye contact, well, it's like, you know what I mean? It gives you a better chance at survival. I'm not saying like do this and you will survive.
Okay, hold on.
I'm there right now.
But you totally could. Like, I think people's mistakes is they like, shark, and then they freak out and run. But now you are just, you're doing prey behavior. And yeah.
So let's say this: I see great white. Do they purge right away, or?
No, and not all great whites breach.
But when will I know that they're doing it?
She just said that they act like they're swimming away.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's
No, but okay. So like, let's say
When they see you and they're
if
breaching,
they see
you're
you
done.
and they circle around and then they disappear.
Okay.
I don't think I'd be like.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh,
I think
I
I'd even
checked
like
it. I
me.
checked out.
I'd be like, I'm just gonna get out of the water.
okay. Let's say this. Let's put ourselves in this scenario, because I think I might have the solution. Let's say, right, your boat is far. Mm-hmm. Let's not say it's like super far, but it's far. The great white. The first thing, it circles, right?
I'm so scared right now.
I know, me too.
It's okay.
So like let's say it's circling, right? It's just one. Is it just going to, like, you can see it starting to go down? Or is it literally just going to disappear?
Like swim away.
It could swim away and then swim down.
Okay, so this is my idea. You follow it. You
Don't
follow it.
reach.
Yes.
If he goes down, you go down.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you literally just
gonna be
follow. And then it gets to a point
I
where it's
mean-
like you're just like going at it, and then you go, you're the prey.
And then you breach.
Or you bite him.
You go.
Wait, can you attack it and it'll go away?
Or will
People,
it be
like-
like, okay, we're fighting.
I don't think I've never heard of a story where someone like attacked it and then it left. But I've heard stories of like they get bit and they attack it and it lets go. But I think they don't care about you punching it. I think they at that point they're tasting and they're like,
A lot of bone.
oh, this is not what I wanted. Like,
Because they don't like humans because we're a lot of
no,
bones.
like we're not like they want seals, because if you think about it, all this energy that goes into swimming over, circling, all this energy that
Breaching.
goes into this breaching, they want to pay out. Like, are you gonna run 10 miles for a single carrot? or are you going to run 10 miles for a basket of nuggets?
Basket of nuggets.
Like, you don't want to exert all of this energy to get little return. So they're, like, precise with it. And so if they do all this work and they're like, oh. Because it's not like they're, like, swimming around. You know, like what I'm saying? They don't get
Like the
meals,
app?
like, every 10...
Like the game?
Yes, they don't get meals every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so they're conserving that. They, like, you know, they think people just think they just go around, like, attacking and, like, eating everything. And it's like, animals are very precise about how they hunt, when they hunt, who they hunt, because it's literally just a trade-off every single time in the animal kingdom. It's like, is this worth it to do this? And if it's not, I'm not going to do it.
So, do you beef a little bit with orcas?
No, I think orcas are amazing. I don't like that they kill great whites, but it's...
And they kill for sport, right?
No,
Oh,
they
okay.
kill for the liver.
That's it?
They only... But they're so precise that they will attack a shark and literally only pull out its liver clean. And you'll see a shark like wash up on the beach with only its liver removed. Like, they don't have to rip apart the shark to find its liver. Like, they know where to hit. Like, they are very precise.
So you don't have beef with them because aren't they
No.
the apex predator?
They're like, I think they share the podium.
To be fair, I would be more afraid.
I would be
because
more afraid
I
of an
don't,
orca.
Oh.
Why?
See, I don't know too much about orcas
Because
to be more
they're
afraid of them.
really smart, and I think they're a little bit more aggressive.
Do they purge? Or do they breach?
Breach. Why do you keep on saying purge?
Because when I
No.
think purge, I think of purge.
The sound?
No. I just think like they're
Purge.
purging. What's purging?
It's like
Oh, taking
well, there's a
out.
lot of different. Yeah, purge. So you can like purge like.
Can I purge underwater?
So like for example, I don't think so because like
Okay,
there's the
I'm-
purge where like people like there's no laws and like people are taking stuff, but I think you can also like purge like food. Is that
I'm not-
correct?
I think so. I'm not
I feel
really
like
sure.
that's what it is.
For some reason, I always just think like
purge
purging
food.
underwater.
No.
I know.
I swear I heard that alligators purge underwater.
Maybe. Yeah. Sure.
We'll have
See?
to look up the word purge. But she said sure.
But I feel like she knows more about water than we do.
I've never really used the word purge.
And that's why I
didn't know
think
yet.
she doesn't. All right.
So-
What were we just talking about? Oh, orcas and.
I don't think orcas breach. I don't think so.
Okay, what do you do when there's an orca? Is that when you're just game over?
No,
Maybe
I think
start talking to
I
it.
think like what? No, I think it's the same thing. It's still a predator and it still knows prey instincts. So I think I would.
And they're in packs.
Well, there's
Yeah, so I think I would still like maintain eye contact. I'd be way more scared though because the people are always like, well, orcas kill great whites. Well, guess what? Orcas are average 16 feet in size. Great whites usually averages 20. Can they get up to like 25? Yeah, they can.
Wait, great whites are bigger than orcas?
No, orcas are bigger than great whites.
Oh.
Great whites average size is about 12 to 15 feet.
What's the average size for great whites?
That is for great white. And then an
Oh.
orca's
Oh,
average
20,
is like
20.
16. Like, they're massive.
Yeah.
They're huge. But then great whites, literally, they don't migrate in packs. They don't hunt in packs. They don't do anything. And if they're all around each other, it's because they're like, sometimes when you cage dive, multiple great whites will come check it out. But then they always flee because a bigger one always comes. So that's like, you'll see in a lot of Shark
Do
Week
they
episodes.
attack each other?
Oh, yeah. Like, you'll see a lot of great whites in, like, Shark Week episodes. They'll be cage diving, and it's, like, tons of sharks, and then all of a sudden they go away. And it's, like, because someone bigger is coming in. And so, like, that's if a large great white comes in and the other ones don't submit, regardless of the sex. Like, it could be a smaller male, and if the second a big female walks in, if they don't leave, but the female thinks she will assert her dominance and attack any other shark that's like maybe trying to like one up her, or like they assert dominance. And so a lot of times if you see a lot of great whites flee, a big boy is
Wow.
rolling in. And that's why you see their faces are covered in scars.
Oh.
Like their gills,
Really?
their faces,
Is they getting a lot of fights?
because of fights, like they usually go for each other's gills. A lot of fights, they'll just bite each other, attack each other. And also mating, they don't have hands. And like, think about it, they're kind of like slippery underwater. So in order to like have the males successfully like be able to wrap around the female for like a successful reproductive event, he has to bite like the side of her face to hold on, and then he'll wrap his body around her.
Oh, wow.
And then that kind of just happens, and then they swim away.
Wow. And then orcas, how they're scary. I've heard like at SeaWorld and stuff, they've like purposely drowned.
They've killed a lot. If you watch the movie Blackfish,
Yeah.
it's all about orca cases where they'll they'll drown them.
Animals are crazy, dude.
Yeah. Well, they're smart. They hunt in packs. They're massive. And they have, like, at least, I think orcas are smarter than sharks. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure sharks, I
'Cause
mean, they've been around
dolphins-
for a long time, but they have a form of communication.
Yeah.
Great whites don't. They have no vocal cords. They don't do any sort of speaking at all. But orcas do. And they're smart. They know exactly where to hit. Or there was like a video of these two whales swimming. And like, I mean, massive blue whales, like 40, 50 feet. And like a pack of 50 orcas came in and flipped them to confuse them. And then they need a blowhole, they need to breathe. And by flipping them all together in a pack, they drowned these two massive blue whales because they're so smart. And then they just ate them. Like, they're so smart.
Yeah, those are scary.
They know exactly what to do.
But I feel like I wouldn't be as afraid of them. If I saw a shark, I'd be done with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, what are some cool, fun facts about sharks? We kind of talked about like the dark side of like the ocean, some animals, but there's a lot of great things. What are some like cool things that you're like, I love the sharks because of this reason?
They have like 6 rows of teeth on each jaw, so it's like a conveyor belt.
Oh wow!
So like, because they lose a tooth like almost every other day, they just lose a tooth, and then a new one, literally conveyor belt.
Oh wow!
that's how that works.
Like it's little. There's like, if you look, there's like
Yeah.
rows. They're all cartilage, which is really cool. I think they're like one of the few animals that are all cartilage. So they're literally just like little. It's like the
Like an
water
ear.
version of a ferret.
Yeah.
You know, ferrets are just like slinkies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like cute slinkies. What else is cool? I don't know what's like cool about them.
What are some facts?
I don't know. I think their cartilage exoskeleton and then
Yeah.
their teeth are cool. That's really anticlimactic, and I apologize.
No,
There's
that was
almost
beautiful.
over 500 species of them, which is super cool. There's giant ones that literally only eat krill.
Yeah. What's
Like,
the one? It's a whale shark, right? Isn't
Yeah.
it a whale shark?
Oh, there are bioluminescent sharks that live in the deep sea, so they literally glow.
Wow.
You know, but all deep sea creatures usually have some sort of bioluminescence.
What? That's crazy.
They throw up when they're nervous, like humans.
Sharks do?
Yeah, they're
So if they throw up when they see me,
exactly.
they're nervous.
So they can throw up when they're nervous
They just
or anxious.
just
Yeah,
yawn. Did they throw up on your boat?
yeah. They get anxious and they just throw up everything, and you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You must be so scared."
Good. You're so good.
So good. Put
Their
this back in.
jaw unhinges when they go to take a bite.
Oh really?
So it, like one shark, like goblin shark, it's naturally always unhinged, so it just is pretty ugly and just.
Yeah.
But like great white, if you watch a slow motion of it biting, yeah, its jaw unhinges. Every shark has a different serration and shape to match their prey. Like tigers, sharks, their teeth are slanted, and they're still serrated, but because they like eating sea turtles, so it's the can opener. And great whites like thick meaty prey, so they're the sharp tooth because they're more for like deep penetration. And then bulls have a different like shorter and a little bit more slanted tooth because they do a lot of thrashing on their head when they bite down, and that helps to keep a grip but shred that meat. This doesn't help you, I get it, but like
That's cool.
there's really cool
Very
precision in every
Yeah.
single one of their species. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, even down to their tooth, it's like so specialized to them. I don't know. There's like a lot of cool things about sharks that.
So why would someone want to go in the ocean?
Ever.
I don't know. I feel like they're not that scary, and someone's got to do it.
Well, isn't there a thing that like you have a higher chance of getting struck by lightning than being eaten by a shark? Is
The
that
chances
true?
are kind of low. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good thing. They don't.
I mean, the ocean's so big.
What are
It's
the
not that
chances?
many sharks, right?
But how many people go that far?
I just don't think I'll ever put myself.
Well, that's
Actually,
okay.
sometimes I do. I do go pretty deep in the ocean.
Well, and
Yeah.
you might not ever be like, I'm gonna put myself in that situation. But like sharks can come up to like the shore. Like you've seen sharks like come by the shore.
But like how shallow?
Like pretty shallow.
Like not to like my hip, right?
No, they can.
The shin.
No, your
Ankle?
Your shin's pretty.
We're safe
No,
with
they-
the shins.
They.
I feel like that's where I'm more safe though. If like I can just,
But you can actually. You have way more speed. Getting
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
can
I don't
just
know. I
jump
feel
on
like
it,
it's something
right?
like you're not gonna like. I think as long as you go in the ocean, you have to understand that you're going into their territory, and then there is a chance of that. Also, with like jellyfish and every other animal,
Jellyfish. Yeah.
you know, you can still get.
Yeah, that's the ocean. If you
Yeah.
think about it,
It's like
it's just like if you go to like if you went to the outback or like certain forests or rainforests,
you
you're
just
in
gotta
theirs.
understand that like you're in their habitat and
But
like what happens.
We feel more comfortable because we can like move around
Mm-hmm.
and like we have guns, but like
Something I tell people is like, because of Jaws, people just don't educate themselves on sharks, and they just think they're like these scary man-eating monsters. So a lot of times when like someone actually is like attacked by a shark, they'll be like, we're gonna find this shark. And you can like, because their teeth pattern is different, you could literally take, if a surfboard actually had each tooth, like even the space in between, you could technically kill a shark and size up its jaw and figure out if that jaw, like that shark was responsible for that. And so a lot of times people will like, you know, someone will get killed by a shark and they're like, we're gonna find it and hunt it. And you know, it's like there's like a huge difference between like, if you would see me with no arm and you're like, yo, what happened? And I was like, oh, I was surfing and a shark bit it off.
Soul Surfer.
It'd be like, whoa, but it'd be like, you wouldn't be as surprised, right? Because it happens to people. But if I was like, oh, I went in a lion's den, you'd be like,
Well,
why?
that's on you, yeah. Why'd you go online?
But they're both apex predators. There's just such a different level of respect. Because we have no use going in a lion's den. We have not recreationalized that. But it's to our human benefit to go in the ocean, to boat, to fish, to surf, to swim, to scuba dive. So we like, what's made for them, we are like, no, but I want to use that. So now it's like been recreationalized, and there's been like a huge decrease in like respect for that apex because we think we have business going there compared to like a lion's den. Like they're both apexes of the ecosystem that they're in. There's just different level of respect because you have no use going in a lion's den.
Yeah, sometimes.
You know what I'm
it's-
saying?
Yeah, even like going into like a location with braedon. That's it. You have to respect.
Yeah,
the
it's like you're
apex.
getting in my space.
Get that respect.
So are
the
we-
apex.
Yeah.
Are we apex predators?
I mean,
Like humans? Humans?
yes,
Okay.
we are
Sure.
the apex predator.
Sure.
Are we?
I don't think I'd consider myself an apex predator. Because we share the
Your
earth with other
knowledge.
animals.
Your utilities?
So I'm like, if I'm in a forest and I'm looking at a grizzly bear, I am not the
But
apex.
if you have a gun,
You have guns,
you have
traps,
A lot
You
of
have a
times, though,
vehicle.
bear spray.
I don't think
vehicle.
bear spray's gonna kill.
Your
Braedon, if
muscles.
you're ever gonna go in an area with a grizzly bear, you gotta bring more than bear spray.
All I have to do is run downhill and zigzag.
zigzag. Is that an actual thing?
We
We
need
need
to-
No,
because they
that's
have seven hands.
crocodiles.
You know.
No,
And alligators.
Oh, downhill is grizzly
You know what would
bear.
be so cool if, like, you know how, like, first of all, do you think you have enough knowledge in something like Allison does, in like her field? Yeah. Do you think you have? Do you think that you have? Like
no,
that
not to
knowledgeable?
her extent.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I know. You're
was-
very smart.
Yeah, you're
You
very-
realize
you're
that,
very
right?
intelligent.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I was like, do I know anything that, like, as much in a field as Allison.
Like for her to get to the point where she's using like words not just to like use them, but to like the actual use in like her regular talk.
Yeah.
Shows your level of intelligence. I hope to get to that one day if I like pursue.
You
like,
totally will.
Furthering my
What would you do for school?
education.
Like, what would be something you would do for school?
Like, if you were to get your PhD and to be a professor,
It'd
what
probably
would you
be like
be?
if I want to like dive in like that whole maybe kinesiology or like biomechanics.
See that? Okay. See?
That's intense.
All right. Looks like I need to.
I'm not saying that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just saying like if I try to like get into something that he has like a lot of like anatomical words.
What did you say?
Biomechanics?
No, the other one.
Anatomical.
Kinesiology?
Kinesiology. Bless you.
Caeden, what?
Kinesiology.
Sounds like a sneeze.
Kinesiology.
Yes, it does.
Kinesiology. See?
Oh.
Bless you.
I don't ever think I say theology.
Caeden, what would you get a degree in? Like, if you
I
went
think it'd be
PhD,
music.
like, super intense.
I am taking a music class, and I am like
that'd be
fully,
so cool.
fully like in depth in it, and it's like going through each era. So right
Oh,
now I'm
that's
learning
cool.
about opera, and I'm learning about their tones and how they arrange specific monotones and all this stuff. And so I think I could see myself like focusing in on that. But I'm getting
That'd
my
be cool.
business degree.
That would be so cool if you were a doctor in music theology or something like that.
Yeah, Dr. Caeden in music. We could have 3 doctors.
We could.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Show
Yeah.
me the news.
See, I feel like if one of you gets it, then you're going to be like, well, he's a doctor, I'm going to be a doctor.
I know. I think
know.
I think
You know.
that's
You're
something
holding me
on.
back.
I think it's something like that you can almost put on a bucket list. But like, if I were to like you, it makes a lot of sense for, especially because you want to have like as much knowledge and like the research and everything backing behind it. For me, it's like it could be a possibility if I want to take my career there. For you, it'd just be a flex. I feel like.
Yeah, that's I think that's what would be the issue to getting it.
Oh, you just be like,
It'd be just me to get it,
yeah,
and then me just
to
be like,
flex on people.
I'm music theory. I'm a music theorist.
You should do it. You can get your PhD paid for, so you should do it.
By who?
The university. It depends on what university you go to.
Okay.
Or you can work it off teaching an undergraduate course. So they'll pay you like, technically, paying for your tuition for like 50 or 60,000 is way cheaper than paying a professor with full benefits and all that stuff. So like that's what my mentor did, is when he got his PhD, 1 year of it, while he was taking classes, he was teaching like an undergraduate biology course or something. And so it was a lot of work, but they paid his tuition because it's cheaper than paying a professor to do it.
That's very smart. So would you ever want to be a professor?
I don't think so. Because you can still do like research, but I don't think I'd want to do like, I don't
just
think I
wanna
can
be
be a
out
teacher. Maybe I could, I don't know.
I think once you have a certain level of degree, I think college just takes you. I think if you're talking about like elementary or like high school or middle school, stuff like that, I think you need like a licensure and stuff like that. But
Yeah, I mean, if I ever got my PhD and I wasn't getting a job like right away, it would be an option is to be a professor for a little bit because you have the PhD.
mm-hmm.
So you could do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we'll see.
That's so cool. Well, what were you saying?
No, I was talking to myself. Sneesiology. What? That's not even my thing.
Kinesiology.
Bless you. Got it again.
Anyway, well, it was an absolute pleasure talking to you. You're officially the guest. Officially. Our guest that we've talked to the longest on the BC program. So let's give a hand clap.
Oh my goodness. Wait, don't look at your phone. How long do you think we've been talking?
Like an hour and a half.
Hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
That's
and
amazing.
the crazy thing about it is that we didn't even talk about anything of like your life.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of cool? We talked about like your passions and your career, and like it took that long, and we could keep going, but I feel like
Well, I can come on after Australia.
No.
And I'll
Yes.
have my
No.
accent.
Or we come to you in Australia and then we do like a
Welcome night.
mid time, and then after.
That would be cool.
Yeah, you can't come back if you don't have an Australian accent.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what that mid time coming to visit you is, making sure your accents.
Yeah, it's like
stuff like that.
Like just
Yeah,
a little
in
bit,
sync.
like a little high.
yeah. We can do a safari. Have a kangaroo. You can interview a kangaroo. The first person to have a kangaroo on your podcast.
So, like, what do you think?
It just squares up. BC, cast out.
That'd be crazy.
You want to close this out?
No, dude, you close this out. You just so
I
good
started
opening
us
it.
up.
Bro, I hate
All right.
closing us out.
All right, I can tell.
Yes, you know.
Welcome to BC Procast. Thank you for
Welcome.
watching. Yeah, you're welcome. Don't judge me unless you want to do it. Were you there? I was asked to pray at Point, and everyone's going at me, roasting me, when I got asked to pray.
I don't think I was there.
Okay, so Braedon is notorious. Not notorious, because notorious is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Braedon is known for having, like,
Efficient prayers.
Oh, wait, was that
Efficient.
last night?
That's an example.
Okay.
So like, it's, like, quick, to the point, right?
Efficient.
Because, you know, when you pray, yeah.
We've already been
Yeah,
praying.
you're efficient.
And we're praying for the food.
So Braedon is, like, known for having short prayers. So, like, now it's become a thing
For
where...
efficient prayers.
Yeah.
Efficient prayers, so, like, it's become a thing.
Time sensitive
Group
prayers.
setting.
So now it's become, like,
Yeah.
a thing where if someone asks him to pray, we all are, like, we're excited to hear how efficient this one is.
And
And
so
it was very efficient.
And so I'm up there and I like get asked to say something. I start saying something, start to pray, and like everyone's roasting my prayer. And I'm like, don't ask me to pray then if you don't want me to.
No, it's become a thing now. Oh,
There's
I
nothing
love
wrong
when
with
he
that.
does it.
Huh?
There's nothing wrong with that. And
That-
everyone's looking at you and like,
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
own it. Stop it. Why are you
No,
making
I
it-
have no problem. But when I get comments about my praying, then I feel like that's... Anyway, it's getting a weird
every
position.
comment could become a compliment.
All we know is that if a shark is coming to be interested in you, get to eye level,
or
show
Show
that
him
you're not
who's
praying.
apex.
By the way, I feel like that can, like what you're saying, could be like a trending like thing. Like oh man, those are so much like that's like such prey qualities you have of you, or like you're acting prey right now.
Yeah,
You're like such a prey. Like you need to be more apex. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
stop
It could be a
praying,
thing.
bro.
Stop being such a prey.
Yeah.
Stop being such
See,
a
you guys
small
can make
prey.
like shirts for that.
Yeah, it would be cool. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Make sure you pray. Make sure, not the pray that we were talking about, but pray to God. Read your Bible. It's great to have a relationship with Him and connect with Him. This was an awesome podcast with an awesome person, Allison. We can clap it up for her.
Thank you for having me on.
So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you definitely had your curiosity fueled, because this podcast was probably one of our most in-depth ones with like a specific topic, which I've learned a lot.
Me too.
I've definitely taken a lot
I definitely
from
could
it.
have listened for longer.
Yeah.
We need a part 2, man.
Yeah, we'll set up part 2, but make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Thank you again so much. And that was BC Procast episode 55. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.